Hello, thank you for tuning into this section of reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. This section of reads should be on the YouTube channel James 13 Wicca. I'll put the stuff like the decks and the dice below that information. Besides that, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching. Let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Scorpio? The energy's kind of chill at the moment. Are people minding their P's and Q's? Are people staying out of your way? We got some interesting energy coming in here. It's tranquil. I think this is working for you. I think. Gotta get a little bit farther into this, right? Okay, so there's one face down card. There's an obstacle. Like literally obstacle. Bam. Like, oh, that's a mystery right there. No. It's funny because it says obstacle, but I keep getting very loudly that it's not a block. It's something to be worked through, to be dealt with, and I think it's working for you. This seems to be working to your advantage. It might be slowing the situation down and creating a better moment for you. Kind of like, all right, there's certain things here that don't make sense and I don't like. So if we just slow it down a little bit, I can kind of look a little closer and get more details here that maybe other people don't want me to have. Scorpio, your water sign, tends to be fairly psychic to some degree, some more than others, depending on what else is in your chart. I know it's different, like psychic things go differently for different people, but a lot of times it's been my impression that Scorpio, like, you catch the vibe of the energy, even if you're not like physically understanding it, even if you're not getting like a visual or some type of something in your mind. It's one of those things where you can get near people or start thinking of a situation and it just feels off and you know something isn't right. And you might even know the direction, like, oh, it's this person, or it's something to do with this part of the subject. That seems to be a Scorpio thing, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But whatever's going on here, the fact that things are slowing down because there's obstacles to work through, I feel like that kind of slows it down enough to where not only if I didn't know the direction it was coming from, I figure it out, and then I just got to watch it play out in front of me. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, it's that. And I feel like that's what's going on here. This isn't showing up just yet? Okay. The history is coming in later, which is, wherever this is stemming from, that information is coming in later. So it's more about the obstacle, things slowing down. I feel like I'm not upset about this. Whatever it is, other people might be upset about it, and they might be expecting you to be upset about it. Maybe expecting you to. I don't think you really are. Scorpio's really good at playing a poker hand, in my opinion. So somebody might be like, "Oh, Scorpio, aren't you super bummed about this?" You're like, "Oh my god, I guess so." Or you might just not react and just be like, "I got a lot of things going on." I feel like when somebody asks me how I feel, I'd be like, "Got a lot going on here. Got to go do some stuff." I might just not answer. I just might not give a response. Very valid, in my opinion. Just because somebody asks doesn't mean they're entitled to an answer. I feel like Scorpio's good at that anyway. This is working. Okay, this is working. So what is being unearthed is a great question. Oh, somebody's been working at something for a while. The face down card was this card. That was the face down card. So somebody's been planning something, working at something, trying to get something together, trying to set the board up to their advantage. And they've been working at this for a while. And I feel like as you're watching this play out, you're seeing like all these, you're seeing where all these things were put here and put there, and this was done like this, and that was done like that. Like, oh, they've been stacking the deck for a while here. Don't think it's bothering you at this point. I don't even know if it's ever going to bother you, but we'll see. The World and the Two of Cups. When this comes in and you start seeing what's really going on and how somebody was stacking it up, you're like, oh, well, I can change that if I want to. There's something here, and this is a reference to the past, where I know exactly what to do, that in 2 seconds I could just add something in here and it would change the whole thing. It's like if you're making chicken soup and you're like, I can just add a couple hot peppers and some hot sauce and I can change this whole thing. This whole thing will be totally different. It won't be the same as it was before. And it's not going to be fixed. It's not going to, once I change it, you can't go back. I can change this whole thing if I want to. I know exactly what to do. I know what to add in right here. I can add a hot pepper or two. This whole thing will change. Everything this person set up, I can nullify that in like 5 seconds. Is it that easy? Is it that easy? And maybe it is. I mean, if the reading's hitting for you, I feel like you know if that's right or not. But will you? Because I feel like there's a conversation about to come up. Okay. The World card. The World card, and not everybody is happy about whatever's going on here. People are starting to figure it out on their own, and they're not sure they like it. These two cards came in like this, which means they're not fully upright, but they're not fully upside down. They got a mix of both the good and the bad, or the, like, there's some here, there's some history here people are understanding, and some things that don't seem to make any sense, like where does this even come from? Judgment in some people's favors, some against. It's a mix, and people, because it's like a social thing, people are like not liking this, and they're like, this isn't what we want. I feel like, I don't know if you have any hand in this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You know if that's how that's going. But the truth is coming forward. That laundry, that's getting aired out. That's getting aired out for sure. People are starting to decide what they want from this situation. Whoever was setting up this whole thing, there's anxiety with this. Is this for you? How does Scorpio feel at this moment? Because I feel that anxiety. I'm watching it play out. I don't know if it's going to change or not. I don't know at this point. I'm realizing it could, but you have a lot of possibilities here. Your influence could help make it happen or make it not happen. And I feel like I'm just watching other people sort it out. Like, do they really want it? Is this for the best? Is this not for the best? I'm just listening and absorbing what's going on is what I keep getting. And I'm just kind of like, I don't really know if it really, like, I'm figuring out the puzzle. I understand how it's working. I understand where it could go. I just don't know if it's good to let it keep going or if it's better to change it. It's very like, you know, if I change it, that could go better or worse. If I let it keep going this way, it could go better or worse. And I'm trying to get more information, but there's some variables here that I'm not really comfortable with. It reminds me of having some relatives that are very helpful in getting things done, but sometimes they have a weird way of doing it. And sometimes they say things that they shouldn't say. So it's kind of like they'd be very helpful to get things done, but they could also make people very upset because they say things they shouldn't say. It feels like one of those things. Kind of like, I don't know if I really should have them a part of this. We really could use the help, but at the same time, they really could drive people crazy and create a moment that we don't need. I don't know. I think the energy here, like, people are, there's a lot of, like, left and right. I want to say bedlam so bad because there's a lot of, like, energy going all over the place and people feeling like they know exactly what they want, but they're working against themselves. Why are they working against themselves? They seem to know what they want, but they're also working against themselves. Are they working against themselves? What does that mean? Can we get a little bit more definition on that? Like, what is that about? They don't want anything bad to happen. They seem to feel like what's happening now, where this is going, no matter what they choose, it seems to be a crapshoot, and they're not confident it's going to work out in their benefit, no matter what way it goes. I just feel like people are having some type of weird... Okay, can we get into the productive part of this? Because I don't know what we're supposed to do with that. That's just kind of like... The people, the energy around here, it's just... It's a mess. It just feels like a mess. I just realized I didn't turn that off. Okay, so... Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles, but that comes... A lot of this comes in like this. Like, it's not in focus. There's work going towards a situation that's half-hearted, or it's not enough work. Whatever's going on here... There's a point where they're saying enough is enough. It's almost like, I feel like... It reminds me of like at a function here, whatever function it is, the issue comes up, and it's like, all right, I'm absorbing information, and I just kind of walk away from that function, like, I'm not really sure exactly what's going on. And then there's another function or another event where we all get together, and it's kind of the same thing plays out. And then I'm like, okay, what was this about? And then it's almost like it happens a third time, a third event, and it's kind of like, it's the same thing. And once I realize it's the same, like, there's no direction going on here. It's like the situation, people are working against themselves. I feel like whatever this situation is that I feel like you're very much a part of, they're kind of saying it's time to just make a decision and make something happen here. Because whatever this is just, it's kind of like it goes this way. It never really makes headway. It's kind of like if you start in this spot, you go this way and it comes back this way and then that way. And then it's like over here and it comes... It never goes. It's like somebody needs to point that finger and go somewhere with it. And they're saying, for better or for worse, with this card, the High Priestess, it's like we just have to find a way to pick a direction and go with it. And the way your energy goes, they're saying if you just choose where you want to go, you'll get a couple people going along with you, is what I'm getting. More than likely, a couple people will go in that direction too. Or if you find other people already choosing a direction and you're like, why not? Maybe you'll link up with them, one of the two. Choose a direction, for better or for worse, just let's see what happens. You don't have to lead it. You don't have to lead it. I'm getting the Strength card. This isn't something you have to lead. But it would be probably pretty helpful if you just make up your mind and just start going in that direction, especially if it's a situation where people are like, oh, I think we're going to go this direction. And you're like, yep, me too. I'm going to go that way. I'm starting today. So it's kind of like if you go, I feel like they'll either follow or they might be like, well, wait for us. We're going too. Something like that. If you start going, other people will too. Just make the direction happen. You don't have to lead it. You may be effective in triggering it to get it started, but then I don't feel like you have to lead it. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Let yourself enjoy the ride. The situation is all over the place, so I don't think it's like... I just feel like I can't just drive it all the way where it's supposed to go, because it's all over the place. But by starting a direction and heading for like that's the destination, it seems to get there. But it's kind of like enjoy the ride, let other people lead, kind of just don't put it all on yourself to make it happen. See what other people lend into the situation. You definitely want to keep an eye on it to make sure it's still heading towards the destination. Like pick a destination, make sure it keeps going towards that destination, but you don't have to drive it the whole way there. Just kind of steer it every now and then is what I'm getting. I just feel like it's just, I don't know. If I have to drive it the whole way there, if I have to lead it the whole way there, I feel like that's very aggravating, and it doesn't have to be that stressful for you, but you got to do what's right for you, of course. They're just saying you don't have to do that. And it'll still make it where it's supposed to go. You allow yourself to enjoy the process where applicable. Once you get there, everybody doesn't have to agree on this either. Once you get there, everybody doesn't have to agree on it. Judgment is selective. Judgment is selective. Judgment is selective. Make it work out the way you want it to, and just people have to choose their own direction. People have to choose their own outcome. Whatever they want, all right, that's what they want. Because I feel like other people, like they're getting their own version of success here with the Triumph card. Is that the Triumph card? Yeah, Gates of Triumph. And they're just not willing to back down from that. Okay, that's fine for them. You going where you want to go, you'll find the possibilities that match you. And more information will come. More possibilities will come. Just, lock yourself into what you want, and then you'll have different opportunities within that same situation. So it's almost like people are like, I keep getting this weird energy of like, maybe it's like, some type of banquet, or it's like some banquet or something like that. And it's kind of like, instead of everybody going to the same place, people are branching off and doing like little luncheons with just the group of people they want to. And it's kind of like, well, if that's what you want, whatever. It reminds me of a family reunion. I've heard of this happening this way, and it's baffled me, but if it works, it works. Like there's a lot of people, but not everybody gets along. So people branch off, and like this group goes to this place, it has a luncheon, and that group goes to a park and has a picnic, and this group goes to a water park. It's weird because it's not like everybody's not getting together, not really, but it's almost like they're kind of doing something together, but not together. But if that's what makes people happy, and if that's what works, it's kind of like, if y'all don't want to get together in one space, all right, let's not force it. But everybody, hopefully, everybody can enjoy what they want to enjoy, then do what you got to do. It seems weird. It just seems, I keep seeing, it baffles me, but it's kind of like also at the same time, if people don't get along, like if everybody getting together in one clump, not everybody gets along, but people do get along if they just segregate off into their own little clumps and everybody has a good time. I at least for this situation, I'm getting roll with it. I'm getting roll with it because afterwards, oh, okay. So afterwards, there might be information that comes together. It's almost like, all this happens and then maybe there's a group chat, or maybe there's some type of social media, something where everybody's on the same social media and they're talking about their experiences and they're talking about this, that, and the other thing. I feel like something is kind of born from that, and there might be multiple possibilities that come from that. So it may offer some resolutions that were not previously seen. It may also allow or offer some type of peace. It says joy and delight, but I'm getting there might be some type of peace in this other way of doing things, especially if it's like something like a reunion. I know it can't be that way for everybody. I know that. It's just an analogy. But the way this feels to me, it's kind of like people are going to be upset. There's going to be people like, well, it was supposed to be a reunion. We were all supposed to see everybody. Like it was all supposed to be in one spot, and that's not what it worked out as. Everybody, there's so many groups branching off, going here, going there. But it's kind of like, yeah, but if everybody got along and everybody had a good time, that's what matters. That's what matters. And, there's other opportunities. And, if that's what people want to do, and we have this one social media group where we all talk about things and we all, touch base there, let people get along. If that's what people need to do, especially if it's a larger group, typically in larger groups, not everybody gets along. It's just the reality of the situation. It's allowing these other possibilities, allowing these other ways for things to happen where people get along and enjoy themselves. If that's what it takes, and then we just talk online about our experiences, so the group is actually together online as a whole, but then branches off in this and that and does things together in pieces and in sections, but there's this one hub where we all talk about what we did in different pieces, that might work. It may be a very odd way to do it, but if that's what helps people stay together, and they don't have to have conflict with other people because they don't want to deal with certain people, that might be the resolution. I hope I made sense with that, because it seems to me like it's a little bit complicated. It's just like a different outcome that was not expected. It's just kind of like, I just keep seeing somebody saying, this isn't how this is supposed to work, and somebody can't let go of it. I would just kind of let that be and let that just kind of drown itself out, and just kind of keep going in the direction that's working for you. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.